Hello, my name's Penny Reeve and I'm an author. I write all sorts of books. I write picture books, I write non-fiction, I write young adult novels, and I write junior fiction too. Generally, I write about things I care about, and that can be quite a lot of things. And often my stories come from questions that I really want answers to. And so as I'm trying to find the answers, I sometimes end up writing a story. One of those questions I had once was, what can an average Australian kid do to make a difference in a world where some people live in poverty? And I really thought about this because when I was little, I lived in lots of different places and I saw lots of different things. And I knew that I wanted to help people who didn't have as much as me and who didn't have the opportunities I had, and I wanted to help. So I know that kids want to help, but how? And so this was one of the questions that was driving my series of books about a character called Tania Abbey. There are 4 stories in this series. 3 of them are available now. 1 of them is out of print. And this question, how can a typical kid help those people who are living in poverty in a practical and real way? That was what drove these stories. This story here, The Back Leg of a Goat, is the first story that I ever wrote about Tania. And Tania, in this story, comes across a gift catalogue. Have you ever seen those gift catalogues that sometimes charities or non-government organisations produce? I've got 2 here, 2 examples. One of them is the Gifts of Compassion catalogue. That's from Compassion Australia. And they have a whole range of different gifts that you can buy to help somebody who lives in another country or in a situation of great need. For example, for $10, you could buy somebody a mosquito net, because mosquitoes in different parts of the world can really cause serious illness. Another thing you could purchase for somebody is a goat. And it's the goat idea. Can you see that? It's the goat idea that motivated me for my story, The Back Leg of a Goat. The Leprosy Mission has a similar catalogue and they also have a goat for sale. So what's the big deal about having a goat? A goat can make all the difference to a family in poverty. It can give them an opportunity to have some income, an opportunity for better food for their family. It can just make a world of difference. So I thought to myself, what if Tania, my main character, wanted to buy a goat from a gift catalogue but only had enough money for the back leg of a goat? And that's where this story came from. Would you like me to read you the first chapter? Okay. The Back Leg of a Goat. Tania Abbey sat on her bed and gave the money tin another shake. Then she tipped it up. Money, mostly coins, fell onto her quilt. It wouldn't be enough. She sighed. If only Sue hadn't left. Sue had been her best friend, but last week she had moved away with her family to the country. If she hadn't left, they would have raised enough. Tania counted the money. She placed the lonely note to one side and built the coins into towers that wobbled and fell. $12.65. Enough for a back leg of a goat, perhaps, but not enough for a whole one. Her bedroom door swung open, and Daniel, her brother, walked in. He had brown hair like hers, but his was spiky from a bad haircut. He always seemed to get bad haircuts, but he didn't mind. He was just like that. "How much have you got?" he asked. $12.65, Tania said, dropping the money back into the tin. The coins clunked in the bottom. "How much is the goat in the catalogue?" Daniel asked. $50. "Are you going to give up?" He spun his hat on his fingers, watching her. Tania shook her head. She put the tin on her desk and pulled the catalogue out from under her homework book. It was one of those gift catalogues where you don't actually get anything. Instead, you buy something for someone in another country, something that can help them get a better life. Tania flipped to the page that had the goat in it. There was a picture of 3 children crowded around a young goat. 2 girls and a boy. The girls wore plaits in their hair and gold studs in their noses. $50 can buy a goat for a family, the caption read. 3 weeks ago, Tania and Sue had found the catalogue tucked into a TV guide. They had read about vitamin supplements for poor children in Africa and the spinach gardens in Vietnam. but the goats had caught their interest. Buying a goat would not only give a poor family in India fresh milk, something Tania really liked, but would also help them start a goat raising business which would give them enough money to send their children to school. Tania ignored Daniel's question a bit longer and stared at the photo. The oldest girl behind the goat was about 10 years old. "Just like me," Tania said. Some people didn't think 10-year-olds could do anything useful. She looked down at her homework, only half finished, but she knew how to read. She was pretty good at maths. But what if she had never been able to go to school? If no one had ever taught her to write her name? "So?" Daniel asked, louder this time. "Are you going to give up?" Tania shook her head. Sue had left after school had finished for the year. That didn't mean the project had to stop. It would be easy to take the money to the store and buy a new craft set she'd been wanting. But that's probably what everyone expected her to do. She closed the catalogue and tapped the lid of the tin twice. "I'm going to get 2 glasses of milk, Daniel. It's time to propose a toast." "Huh?" "Sue and I didn't try hard enough. $12.65 is okay if you just want the back leg of a goat. But what good will that do a family in India? They need a whole goat to start a business, not just part of a goat." Tania jumped off the bed. "No, we are not giving up," she said triumphantly. "We're going to buy a goat." "We?" Daniel stared up at her, his hat still on his finger. Tania grinned at him. "Yes, we." And she went to get the milk. I wonder how you would raise $50 if you were going to buy a goat for someone from a gift catalogue. This story, Tania and her brother and their friends get up to some rather interesting solutions to raise money. I'll let you read the book to find out what happens. See you next time.